One day, a young woman and a pizza delivery guy pull up to a dairy farm, get out of the car, and she hands him a gun. He takes it, raises it up, points it at her head, and pulls the trigger. So this woman's name is Natalie, and she's 19. One day, she becomes friends with a local homeless man, Shawn, and she often helps him with rides and other things. Over time, however, Shawn starts to get a little too close to Natalie and becomes obsessed with her, so she slowly begins to distance herself. But it's not working. Eventually, she puts her foot down and tells him she doesn't want to see him anymore. Shawn doesn't take this well at all. He starts freaking out, parking outside her house and sleeping near her workplace. Natalie does everything she can to keep him away. She avoids his calls, blocks him, and even files a restraining order. Around this time, she gets on Facebook, makes a post telling everyone that Shawn has been stalking her and says to ignore him because he's mentally unwell. This is where things go wrong. About a week later, Natalie's boyfriend, who we'll just call boyfriend, comes home from work, but Natalie isn't there. All her stuff is there, but his gun, a Glock, is missing. He immediately calls the police and explains the situation, saying that his girlfriend has a protection order against this man who has been stalking her. The police are alerted and begin investigating Shawn. They call him in for questioning, but Shawn says he doesn't know anything about Natalie's disappearance. Without any evidence, they let him go. Shawn then goes on to make a video about it, which he posts on his YouTube channel, saying, "The Roomfield Police Department just got a hold of me." The next day, a hiker is out in the woods near a local dairy farm and stumbles across Natalie's body. She's been shot in the head. Immediately, everyone is suspicious of Shawn. After all, they've seen Natalie's Facebook post about him stalking her. People flood the comments on her post. Point 6. The finger at Shawn and demanding police look into him again. Shawn sees all these accusations and doesn't like it, so he goes live on Facebook to defend himself, saying, "Sure, I'm a weird guy, but I'm not a killer." His response only makes the backlash worse. Soon, reporters start chasing him, trying to get him to admit something about Natalie's death. This ends up being too much for Shawn, and he begins posting on Facebook about wanting to end his life. People see this and report it to the police, who then conduct a wellness check. They find Shawn in bad shape and take him to a treatment center, where he begins freaking out and even assaults a police officer, resulting in his arrest. Once Shawn is taken into custody, the internet and some of Natalie's family members celebrate, believing her killer has been caught, until police suddenly release Shawn and even clear his name. Apparently, Shawn was telling the truth. He's a weird guy, but he didn't kill Natalie. At this point, the police have no more leads. But about a month later, they finally obtain Natalie's phone records, which take some time to retrieve. When they go through the records, they find over 100 messages exchanged with a number they don't recognize. That number belongs to a guy we'll call Pizza Man. Police locate Pizza Man and bring him in for questioning. At first, Pizza Man says he met Natalie once but doesn't know what this is all about. However, after a lot of questioning, he finally admits that he did know Natalie and was with her when she died. Then, he tells them his version of what happened. Pizza Man claims that about a week after Natalie's Facebook post about Shawn, she was in a really bad place. She was depressed, dealing with issues with her boyfriend, being stalked by Shawn, and struggling with some drug issues. She was overwhelmed and thinking about ending her life but couldn't bring herself to do it. That's when she had a crazy idea. She would put an ad on Craigslist for a hitman to end her life. So she went to her computer, typed up the ad, and posted it. Amazingly, someone actually responded to the ad within minutes. Pizza Man. He told her he was a hitman and even claimed to be an experienced one, though in reality, he was just a guy who worked at Domino's. Pizza Man and Natalie started texting back and forth. She told him she was serious about wanting her life to end and wanted it done quickly. She asked if he had a gun to do it, but Pizza Man said he didn't. So she said, "All good, I have one," and retrieved her boyfriend's Glock. Later that day, Pizza Man drove over to pick her up and she got into his car. They drove around for a few hours, looking for the perfect spot, and eventually found it at a dairy farm near the woods. They stopped there, and Natalie handed Pizza Man the Glock. He asked if she was sure she wanted to go through with it, and she told him not to try to talk her out of it. So, Pizza Man raised the gun, pointed it at her, closed his eyes, and pulled the trigger, shooting her in the head as she had requested. He then took her purse and threw it, along with the Glock, into the trunk of his car before driving away. That's the story Pizza Man told police, that Natalie wanted to end her life and he was just helping her do it. Whether or not his story is true, it's still legally considered murder, so they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. He eventually takes a plea deal and is sentenced to 48 years in prison. Shout out to Craigslist. And Domino's!